Welcome to Nerd Wars, and you guessed it, the people behind Doctor Who aren't taking their recent failure very well. It turns out Doctor Who fans want their doctor to be Doctor Who, not Doctor Queer. And I know that sounds offensive, me saying it, but it's not. They are obsessed with how queer the doctor is. Yeah, I know. We were told for a long time we weren't allowed to say that word. Yeah, now they are rubbing it in our faces. Doctor Who showrunner Russell T Davies, I don't believe it's actually pronounced Davies. I'm learning now that I'm a Doctor Who channel. Dismisses critics of his decision to focus series on queer themes. Ma'am, this is a Wendy's. In dark little corners, people might argue, but that's not the real world. Well, here's the thing. We got the ratings in. Turns out it's also the real world. Turns out you're the weird one in the dark little corner doing all your butt stuff that you're absolutely just obsessed with for some reason and need to share it with kids. You're so obsessed with it. Yeah, not weird at all, guys. Who needs Doctor Who when you can have this instead? My prayers go out to all the Doctor Who fans. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. In the opinion of showrunner Russell T Davies, the bevy of criticism leveled towards his decision to make queer themes a central focus of Doctor Who are not only inconsequential, but ultimately detached from fan sentiment in the real world. Yeah, we have the numbers now. It's completely detached. No one wants it, doing even worse than Jodie Whittaker's Doctor. Congratulations. You made a horrible situation even worse. And if you don't like it, guess what? They're going to go full Disney on you and call you all the bigots and ists and phobes they can. Meanwhile, the fans just want a good show without all the crazy far-left propaganda in it. If you haven't checked out the first two episodes, it is just jammed-packed with propaganda. Schmortion, overpopulation, immigration and asylum and all that stuff, pronouns. It's not Doctor Who anymore. It's the BBC trying to indoctrinate your children. At one point, make a note of how the show just keeps leaning more into queer themes and everything, especially since the specials. Yeah, the specials were also pretty bad, where they leaned into themes about how we needed the TARDIS to be wheelchair accessible. The interviewer eventually asked Davis if he could speak about leaning into that more intentionally, to which the showrunner replied, "It's funny, because to be absolutely honest, it's almost not that deliberate, because that's the life I lead." In your dark little corner. But for all of us normal people, why don't you go ahead and make entertainment for us instead of all the degenerates? Maybe then you'd get a third season. But as far as I'm aware, Disney is bankrolling 2 seasons, so I don't see you getting past that. Speaking of, I wrote a series called Queer as Folk in 1999 that broke down many barriers, and I'm never going to step back from that. But there's a show called Queer as Folk. This is it's Doctor Who. So maybe leave your queer as folk writing with Queer as Folk. I believe it was like HBO or whatever. Okay, that's an appropriate place for this. This is on Disney freaking Plus. Kids are supposed to be watching. In fairness, no one's ever asked me to step back from that. I thought you guys were all marginalized and all the Istian phobes were constantly bringing you down. But no one's ever asked you to stop being queer as folk? And I just think it doesn't even feel particularly queer to me. The drag queen doesn't feel particularly queer. The flaming Rwandan doctor doesn't feel particularly queer. It feels natural. It's 2024. No, it feels natural to all you guys obsessed with buttholes. But for all of us normal people, no. You need to step back. It's not natural. Like, literally, like, scientifically, physically unnatural. You're going against nature. It's not natural. We've been social engineered into thinking it's acceptable. And now we're chopping kids' balls off. So maybe we stop being so tolerant and accepting of all this supernatural queerness. I swear, it's totally natural. That's why Gen Z is like greatly increasing in being LGBTQ It's just nature. It's just natural. It feels natural. It's 2024 and we're all embracing this. No, we are not. Stop speaking for us, you degenerate freak. Twitter might kick off and in dark little corners, people might argue. But that's not the real world. The real world is one of acceptance and with battles to be fought and votes to be gained. No, the real world is straight white men. You're in Britain. That's the real world. Maybe give those people that are the huge majority of the demographic that watches Doctor Who, give them what they want. Instead of, I don't know, stepping fully into your queerness or whatever nonsense you're on about. I'm not naive to the problems that exist, but God, it's a more welcoming world. Yeah, we should probably do something about that. That was a mistake. In schools, we now have people who can come out and be happy and thrive. They want to queer your kids, guys. They want to queer your kids. Don't worry, though. It's 2024. It's natural. Which, when I was that age, was literally impossible. Yes. Can we go back to that? So that's got to be a better world. It's not. It's a much, much worse world. So I simply write quite naturally. I don't think about it that much. Well, maybe you should think a little more about your writing and your core demographic that watches your show. It's not the same demographic that watches Queer as Folk. I can tell you that much. That is my world, and I'm trusted by my bosses to put my world and my writing on screen. Then your bosses need fired. Oh, God, and we got Jinx Monsoon for some reason sitting next to the child. It's not weird at all. Declared Russell T Davies brought Doctor Who to everyone. Yes, Doctor Who, when it was for straight white men, turns out it was actually for everyone. Everyone could enjoy it. But now when they're trying to make it not for straight white men, now no one enjoys it. We have the numbers now. You want something to be made for everyone? Put straight white men in charge of everything. Cast them in everything. Then it will be for everyone. But when you crazies get in charge, it ends up being for no one. A lot of people are going to really love this, and completely inaccurate, and I think this season is going to create a lot of new Doctor Who fans. No, absolutely not. I like sci-fi. I've thought about starting Doctor Who before, figuring out what seasons, between what seasons I should watch when Doctor Who was actually good. And in general, the writing and stuff, it kind of went downhill from what I'm told. And then they're like, well, let's do a female Doctor. And then it went even farther downhill. And now they're doing this. And it's off the cliff. But don't worry, it's 2024. Jumping off cliffs are natural now. It's for the children. And if we lose some of the transphobic ones, don't let the door hit you on the way out. You mean just normal British people. That's who you're talking about. That's who you're attacking. There's a lot of toxicity around the gender and the trans conversation. I wonder why, because you're a bunch of crazy cancel mob degenerate freaks. That's probably why. In the 70s, it was the conversation of queerness, the gay conversation. Yeah, and we should have put a stop to it then, before it got this far. We overcame it once and we'll overcome it again. And yes, we will overcome you crazies again. Maybe, I don't know, not purposely destroy Western civilization. To the people who are upset about it, boo-hoo, cry your fucking tears. 2.5 mil and then like 2.1 mil. And then you got a little extra from the iPlayers. Absolutely phenomenal job of destroying one of the most beloved franchises ever. Congrats. It's not your world exclusively. Yes, but when it was straight white men, it was inclusive for everyone. Everyone could enjoy it. Now no one except the craziest of crazies can enjoy it. We all live here, so get over yourself. Here's a crazy idea. Telling people to get over themselves. You think we're the ones like the narcissists obsessed with ourselves? Yeah, no. If someone needs to get over themselves, it's this monstrosity right here. My apologies. It was 2.6 million and then 2.2 million for the second one. And normally, even with like Jodie Whittaker, it did half decent at first because people were interested. They wanted to know, hey, maybe she'll do some good. Maybe the show will turn itself around. But we also got the specials with Shooty. When they had to bring back a doctor people actually did like, just to kind of smooth the transition over a little bit. And of course, they destroyed canon and the character in the process. The special before this season started managed to pull in almost 5 million viewers. So it's already at like half of that. And by the last episode, it's going to be at like 1 million. Which for Doctor Who is embarrassingly bad. The next new episode of Doctor Who, boom, is on schedule for a May 18th landing on Disney+. Tell me down in the comments what sort of far-left propaganda that's totally natural in 2024, we swear, is going to be in this third one. They've already covered just about all the bases. Black non-binary lesbian with vitiligo. And she's an astronaut. Astronaut doctor. I just can't wait. How about you? Like and subscribe, please. My channel's under attack. Thanks for watching, and please follow the algorithm on your way out and support the channel by becoming a YouTube member.